And we are live. Good evening, folks. Mobile Geezer and Ted here. And we're broadcasting, as you can see, from the Mobile Geezer channel tonight. And thanks to the guys at StreamYard, and because my phone would do what it always does. Thanks to the guys at StreamYard, I can now broadcast to YouTube and both of my Facebook IDs at the same time. So I'm broadcasting in 3 places at one time. So those of you watching on George Hayes' Facebook can see me, and those of you watching on Facebook on Mobile Geezer can also see me. So this is the last week of the month. So, of course, no Mike and no Will. I mean, no Joker and no Will. And not sure about Jerome. If he comes in, he comes in. But, of course, we'll be grateful if he does. But Ted and I will hold down the fort and give you our stories. So, Ted, how's your week been?
Oh, hello.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
Well, hi, guys. Welcome. Yeah, my week has been okay. I had a bit of an eventful week watching no, it wasn't eventful at all watching the Judiciary Committee with all the
It definitely was not eventful.
CEOs. No, not at all.
Yeah, well, as I was saying, to me, everybody said what you expected them to say. The Republicans said what you expected them to say. The Democrats said what you expected them to say. And Sundar and all the guys came up with the answers you expected them to say. And they were ducking answering questions big time, if you ask me.
Well, yeah, because it's perjury. It's serious now.
Exactly. Exactly.
At least I think the Democrats were able to stick to their topics to the most part.
And that's the thing. The Democrats went with the topic that the hearing was supposedly for. But you knew the Republicans were all going to complain about, things getting taken down, So the Republicans didn't even do hardly any of what the hearing was supposed to be for, but you knew that was going to happen,
Nah, I guess I was naive.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a lot older than you. I've had a lot more time to become jaded than you
have. Whose stream did you like, by the way, out of the CEOs, the tech CEOs? Pichai's?
I like Sundar Pichai. I thought Google's was the nicest looking appearance-wise to me. What did you think?
I think Google's was nice too. Like it looked more normal, but I think I don't know something about Bezos's like faded, like very low contrast look also appealed.
Okay, see, I don't. Like I said, I only watched clips, and then I'm not even sure if I even saw. Maybe I saw one clip of Bezos, so I probably didn't pay that much attention. But I did see Sundar a lot, and I saw Mark Zuckerberg a lot. His was okay too, but I thought Sundar's was the most.
I thought his was the worst.
Oh, really?
His was the worst. Like he and Tim Cook like did the whole profile like you just see me think, except for some reason that I guess Tim Cook's camera was just like made him look more compressed and flat. Zuckerberg was like all up in the screen, like you could see his head. Like I don't know, it was it was not very flattering.
I guess it's all a matter of personal taste, I assume, But yes, if I had looked across the board and could see all of them at once, the one who looked the most professional to me was Sundar.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Go check out.
What are you looking up? It's like you're taking Mike's place.
But no, actually, one part has on my LG G8X, which can be had for about $220 on eBay.
Okay.
This got the comment. This got the comments, and this has whatever I need to have.
Okay. All right. Before we start, I should recognize everybody officially. Of course, Nigel was by far number one. And
congratulations, Nigel. Yeah, I see you.
Yep,
he was 607.
6 came in second, as I would expect. Brian came in right after that. Eleanor, I think, was next, and then Max came in right after his stream, and he gave us a shout out, so we're very thankful for that. And Alan from Phone Tech and Workers in here. Hey, Alan. And now Tech for Your Needs is in here. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. And so now I guess we'll go on with stories and give Ted more chances to show off his phone. All right, so we're going to start with, I guess I'll read the first one. I'm going to share my screen.
What's the first? The first story is what the CES is moving to online stuff.
Exactly. And for those who don't know, Ted and I first met at CES. What was it, 3 years ago, Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there with ZTE, and
we won a contest, a fan video contest, right?
Yeah.
We didn't get the grand prize, but yep.
Yeah. Did you go 2 years in a row? Or you just went the 1 year?
I just went the 1 year. I went the subsequent year, the year after that.
Yeah, I went the first year, and I won one of the grand prizes. And the second year, I was one of the second prize winners. So the second year, I had to pay my own flight, but that's okay. But anyway, I was glad to meet Ted and give him a chance 3 years later to show off his phone. All right, so we're going to start with this one. This is on the Verge. And this is CES, the world's largest tech conference, will be online only in 2021. It'll be back in Vegas in 2022, the CTA says. And I was mentioning to Ted before we started, Vegas must seriously be hurting for money. And this is their biggest conference of the year, every year. So just one more nail in the coffin for Vegas. Okay. So the Consumer Electronics Show, CES, long the world's largest tech trade show, will be all digital in January 2021. The Consumer Technology Association announced on Monday. The CTA cited the COVID-19 pandemic and concerns about the spread of the virus as its reasoning for canceling the in-person event. CES usually takes place in Las Vegas and involves many large gatherings in tightly packed convention halls. Boy, we can attest to that, as well as smaller meetings between retailers, manufacturers, and other industry professionals. Per the CTA, the digital CES will be a new immersive experience. The organization did not provide many details about what the online event would look like, but it claims it will be highly personalized. The organization still plans to hold CES 2022 in Las Vegas. As recently as May, the CTA was planning to hold CES 2021 in person, with companies having the option to exhibit digitally. At that point, a number of large conferences scheduled for 2020 had already been canceled, postponed, or moved online, including Blizzard's BlizzCon, E3, Facebook's F8, Google's I/O, SXW Game Developers Conference, and all of Microsoft conferences, including its Ignite and Inspire events. The GSM Association's Mobile World Congress, originally scheduled for February, was one of the first tech conventions to be canceled due to COVID-19 concerns. The GSMA maintained that the show would proceed in person for over a week after a slew of large exhibitors pulled out. Update July 28th. The article has been updated with more context around other conferences that have been canceled in recent months due to COVID-19. So I think we can generally assume anybody who was going to have an in-person conference where there's going to be a lot of crowds pressed together, that's going to be online if it happens at all. So it's sad to say that, but I guess we all should have expected it. I thought there was something in here that I wanted to make a comment about, but whatever it was, I've lost it. So, Ted, you got any thoughts?
Plenty on this. I'm just wondering how they're going to pull this off. And I'm wondering, since it's virtual, can anyone just come?
Well, yeah, what is it? Normally it's $1,500 if you were paying your way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
but
wonder how...
Usually you can't even pay your way. Like, you have to have an in to even pay your way.
Oh, yeah, to get to even be able to pay your way. That's true. You have to have some kind of invite or an in with somebody. That's true. But yeah, as you were pointing out before we started, I happened to mention that Apple and And OnePlus had done really great job with theirs, but as you pointed out, CES is a totally different animal.
Yeah. I actually heard OnePlus wasn't actually that great.
Oh, I thought it was good. Oh, you didn't watch it?
No, I didn't watch that. I watched the Apple one, and I thought that was the chef's kiss, the masterpiece.
The Apple one was excellent, but I thought OnePlus's was excellent also. So,
But I'm curious. They said it's going to be a personalized thing, so I'm just
yeah, what does that mean?
Is it like, maybe we can, like, if we can log on to the CES website, we can go a la carte, like, all right, like, you decide which of the vendors come to our feed or something? Like, is it going to be like a feed thing or a time slot thing?
Yeah. Mike Livingston is a friend of mine. He lives right outside Atlanta. Says he hasn't attended that show since Comdex, that 1990s. Yeah, I remember Comdex. I've never been to it, but I remember it was a big deal back then, that's for sure. But we're glad you're here, Mike. Mike is watching us from Facebook, so that's good. All right, so now we're going to move on. All right, this is going to be yours.
No, not just yet.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Some other thing.
Go ahead.
There was this debate thing. I think it was 2 weeks ago. There's this YouTube tech channel called Saturday Tech Fights, where they have debaters. They have 1 minute debates, and like there was a question that was asked, which was should all these trade shows or announcement shows, should they just all go virtual?
And the answer?
Well, it's a debate. You argue your answer. There's no right answer.
Okay.
But I was firmly, like the realization hit me, like, seeing as how Apple did it, I was thinking, yeah, they should all be virtual. Like, I don't really see what's the point of, these shows where you all have to go, where you all can get sick. And I was even more of the opinion that, these.
So you mean all the time?
Yeah, forever,
permanent. See, I disagree with that. I've listened to a lot of some of the big bloggers and stuff, and they all are missing the fact that they're not going to these things. And
they're missing them. They want
since you and I have been to one, I've been to two, and I'm missing them too. So I would rather see them be back in person. I can understand this year and next year, but you'd rather see them all go virtual all the time?
Yeah, I was thinking all the guys who were saying no were just scared of their paychecks or their perks of their job, but I think it's actually better if they just do a virtual where everyone can come and see it. It's not just, we have to go hear it through the grapevine. And then when we have to ship out the demos, they could just do it on that day and just have embargoes. And then once the announcement is off.
Yeah, but I suspect, now, of course, the cities that host these things like Vegas, they would totally disagree with you. But I would think that most of the manufacturers and the people who make the products, they probably want that in-person presence. That's my guess.
What would the in-person presence do for the manufacturers?
It's much more personal. It makes customers feel.
These aren't customers. These are the bloggers.
No, I know, but these are their customers when they're at those events, and I just think it makes. Personally, I just think it makes people feel better. I'd rather go to an event like CES than watch it online. I'd rather go to Apple's event in person than watch it online. That's just me.
But for someone who doesn't expect to be going to all these events, I would rather, a good show where everyone can see like what Apple did.
Yeah, but keep in mind, they all did this because of COVID-19, and they did a great job.
And maybe they should keep doing it, like this working from home situation,
And
maybe it should keep happening.
In my opinion, there's no way in the world the virtual option is going to match the excitement that you get from being there. Now you know that because you've been there.
I don't know. I was plenty surprised and excited when Apple announced that their MacBooks were going to go ARM only. That was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, so was I. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there is a thing about being in a crowd and you feed off it in that energy. Yeah, that is true. But if I had to give that up in lieu of like, we can all go there. Actually, yes, the 714, Jason C. Why don't you
Yeah,
post this
I'm
comment
putting
up?
that up right now. Now we have
Yeah.
two differing opinions here. Now Jason says gives people more people an opportunity to see things they otherwise wouldn't. That's one opinion. Now Michael's opinion is there's no substitute for pressing the flesh. Now
That's what's causing the virus.
no, we're talking about when there's not a virus. But that now I have to admit that could be because Michael is very close to my age. So maybe it's the generation thing. I don't know. But I just think the excitement of being at an event like that. I've been to two CESs. I went to the next to the last big Android barbecue, and I just find it exciting to go to these things. And yes, I'm a small YouTuber. And when I went to the barbecue, I was just getting started. But the big YouTubers, the big bloggers, they say the same thing. They miss the excitement of the event too. I've heard many of them say that.
Like, yeah, and I'm sure they're just crying because they're losing out on networking opportunities. But
well, yes, and that's one of the big things you hear from all of these guys. The only time a lot of these people see each other, even as friends, is at these events because they're all so busy. And I can attest to that, like, TK Bay, right? Now,
yep.
I know him because I've seen him 3 times at all 3 of the events I've been to. Well, I will never see him any other way. So I kind of like that because he's, such a nice guy, So I think there's a lot to be said for being there in person. But this year and next year, I understand it.
But yeah, I'm saying, if it would be better for consumers, for us, the regular Joe consumers, if it was moved to be virtual only.
But keep in mind that these shows, like you were saying before, these shows aren't really made for the regular Joe consumers. They're made for the people who are going to buy the stuff and get it to those consumers. True?
No, it's made for those who are reported because they are the ones who attended. But when you make it for everybody to go see it in virtually, everybody is a stakeholder, regardless of their writing for a blog magazine or a tech website.
I got to think there's a generation thing going here. I'm thinking because of your age and my age, this is part of the reason we see things differently, I think.
Let's see, Max Tech has a question for you. Which YouTubers have you met at the Android barbecue?
Let's see. Well, the number one would be Joshua Bain, only because I was writing for his website for about 2 years when I went there, and so he was there. I met Jerry Hill. I saw Jerry Hildebrand at the Big Android Barbecue and talked to him a little bit. And the first night, the second night, he turned out Jerry Hildebrand. He works for Android Central. He's in a wheelchair, but he's like everybody's favorite on Android Central, and he's the knowledgeable one. He's programmed. He knows all kinds of stuff. So really, really nice guy. I'm trying to think who else I met. I saw Michael Fisher, but he saw me at CES. He saw me see him. He took off. Who else have I met? TK Bay, who's a very nice guy. I've seen him at all 3 events, and he's always really nice to me. And I'm trying to think, I haven't met that many people in person. The funny thing was, the last time that I went 3 years ago, we were there 2 years ago. Well, come January, it'll be 3 years. But Alan from Phone Tech at Work was there, but I never saw him, and he never saw me. But my impression was I'm kind of early to bed person, and Alan, I would also see him posting stuff at 2-3 o'clock in the morning all the time. So I think that may be the difference. Yeah. Now here's Jason. Virtual can't match the excitement for the event, but a lot of people and smaller creators can't make it to events such as and that's true.
Levels out the playing field, doesn't it? Levels out the playing field.
But see, like a guy like Alan from Tech at Work, he always finds a way to make it. I guess he pays his way to a degree, but he always finds a way to make it. So, see the next one. Technology is best enjoyed when you can meet, going to dinners, talking about a variety of things, and then coming back to the main chapter. Yeah, and that's, again, this may be a generational thing, but I agree with Mike. Yes, he's with me now too. Yeah, and Mike worked in a lot of tech stuff. I think hardware and I did a lot of programming, but we're both in the same age range, so that may have a lot to do with it. All right, are we ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. The next one is also from The Verge, and I'll let you read this one. And I'm going to share the screen.
Let's see. Google will keep
Google.
employees working
Yep.
remotely until July 2021. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai emailed employees Monday to announce the plan. Google plans to keep 200,000 full-time and contract employees working remotely until at least July 2021. Other tech firms have announced long-term plans to keep employees working from home due to restrictions from the coronavirus pandemic, but Google will be the first to extend the remote working into the middle of next year. According to the Wall Street Journal, Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google parent company Alphabet, made the call last week following a meeting with top company executives. A Google spokesperson told The Verge that Pichai sent an email to the employees this morning announcing the plan. To give employees the ability to plan ahead, we are extending our global voluntary work from home option through June 30th, 2021 for roles that don't need to be in the office. Google had previously announced plans to reopen some offices for a limited number of employees starting from July 6th, but it made the return to physical offices optional. Pichai made the decision to establish a more specific timeframe for remote working, in part to give Google employees with families more certainty about how long they should be working from home, as many are struggling with inconsistent direction from school districts.
Yeah, and I think
Facebook,
that
Twitter, Square
I
have
think
already
that's
announced plans to allow workers to continue working remotely indefinitely.
Yep. Sorry about interrupting you.
That's all right.
That last paragraph about them employees with families, I think that's very good because the school districts don't seem to have a clue what they're going to do come next month, come August or September. So I think companies have to really give parents a wide berth there, give them some room to be able to work things out. So I guess it's not too unexpected, but yeah, going all the way to the end of June next year, that is kind of surprising, especially with 200,000 employees and contractors.
Got to do what's right. It's the health of your employees.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. A friend of mine works for Chase, JP Morgan Chase, and she's saying, she's getting the impression that they actually want to move into their campuses in Texas, in Dallas, or Plano in Texas, whenever they can. Even though, for whatever apparent reason, because they invested so much money in their campus.
Now, where are they moving from?
Moving from?
I thought you said they're moving to Plano.
Well, no, they're in Plano. The campus is in Plano. They want them to move, they're feeling this, that they want them to move in, as soon as possible once this dreadful business is concluded. But they're giving it an optional thing. And, whether you're like, hey, if you live with somebody that's, susceptible of dying from the virus, then, it's optional to come in. Yeah, but they do.
I guess a lot of this is going to be, business dependent, what type of business you're in and, how much person-to-person contact you have with customers. I guess that's going to have a lot to do with it, But yeah, I know Plano only because when I was programming, I did a contract in the mid-'90s out at MBNA, which is in Dallas, but we were like 5 minutes from Plano. So
you did a what?
A programming contract. Most of my 17 years in Orlando, I was a programming contractor for 15 of those years. So I was always on the move somewhere. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I
wonder if he'd be interested if a full staff ever returns to Google.
Facebook says they're going to move, like they're looking as working from home as a more permanent solution.
And I think a lot of companies are going to do that because in some ways, some of these companies have been saving money from a lot of overhead from office space they didn't have to pay for,
Yep.
So that kind of makes sense, and that's why Google has all those contractors. The only reason people hire contractors in the tech world is because they don't have to pay them benefits. So they all have a lot of contractors. That's what kept me working for all those years. Max is asking a question.
What's he selling? What is he selling?
What phone plans? I have T-Mobile everything. I have 3 T-Mobile lines of my own, and they're all. It used to be. See, when Eleanor and I were married, we had my 3 lines plus her line. We had 4, and we had 10 gigabytes of data on each phone per month. But then at some point, T-Mobile just gave us the unlimited, and that was that. And the only reason I ended up with the extra line, because I originally had 2 and 1 for her, but then they offered a 4th line for free, so I took it. So that's why I have 3 lines, and she still has her 1 line. But I have been with T-Mobile since I started doing YouTube about 4 years ago, and I love my T-Mobile. That's just me.
He loves his T-Mobile.
Yeah.
I have T-Mobile as well. I've had it since 2016 as well.
Yeah.
And I am, to be honest, I've been happy with the service they give. If I ever have to talk to someone, I have happy with going to the stores. It's the reception that's bugged the heck out of me.
You mean the reception at the stores?
No, the cell phone reception.
Oh, the reception. Now, see, I haven't had any. Now, there is one spot when I go
with the iPhone 7, it was with the iPhone, it was I thought when I got the LG G8X with that has band 71, that's T-Mobile praises and all.
Right.
Like, it's just a little better, but sometimes I look at it and sometimes it slips to 3G. So I'm just like,
well, band 71 can only help if there's a tower that's reaching the phone. It may be that you're out of reach of a specific tower, Because I know when I drive to Eleanor's house and she's 11 and a half miles from me, there's one spot, and it's been there for years, that we lose people. But I will say in T-Mobile's defense that it's been 5 years at least that I've had T-Mobile, their service, at least in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, keeps getting better and better and better, and coverage keeps getting better and better and better. And that's the truth.
I can't say that from, being in Dallas and also staying in the rural areas of Dallas and Roy City, but
okay.
I'm moving to Visible come September.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, Big House, glad to see you, sir.
What's up, Big House?
Yeah, there's Michael.
Yeah, anyway, why you ask Max? Yeah, cricket. But why are you asking Max? Like, you selling something? What you selling?
What's Max? That's the reason he's asking that question? Okay.
But yeah, I pay, but I can't complain because my plan is cheap. I pay like $85 because I have to pay half of my iPhone 11, and my plan is $75.
Yeah, no, my plan is very reasonable, and I'm very, very happy with T-Mobile and have been for a long time, and it probably will be for a long time. Now, when that 3rd year is up since they merged with Sprint, then we'll see, because they promised me they can't raise prices until then we'll see. All right.
He uses Mint Mobile. I've been curious about Mint. It runs on T-Mobile. I use their $20 8 gigabyte. If it's not unlimited, I don't want to talk.
Yeah, I have to have unlimited.
Well, actually, no, maybe we don't need unlimited because, hello.
Well,
hello.
Yeah, I said that, and then I need to retract that because I said Eleanor and I used to have 10 gig before T-Mobile gave us unlimited. Well, we never got anywhere near that 10 gig, neither one of us. So
I think I would hit that just by streaming music. Let me see what I've been using now.
Can you imagine if Mike's son had Mint Mobile? He'd be paying thousands.
Let's see. So from July 29 to August 28, it said I've used 7. I have used 7. Oh, moved it. I've used 7 megabytes.
Okay, yes, yeah.
7.5
megabytes or gigabytes? Oh,
megabytes.
Yeah, then you wouldn't get near it either, probably.
Yeah, because I've been home Wi-Fi, so
Yeah, when I get a new phone and I forget to change the warning, and most of them are automatically set to 2 GB, I'll get a warning at 2 GB, and then I'll just change it to 10. But I don't think I ever go over 3 GB ever. Now Mike is saying when we get the 5G coverage challenges. Well, Mike, that's only for Verizon with their millimeter wave, which reaches 50 feet, and then you got to hit another tower and hope somebody doesn't walk between you and the tower. But with T-Mobile and Sprint now coming together, and even AT&T, they all have the low band and the mid band. I don't think that's going to be much of a coverage challenge. But for the super fast millimeter wave, yeah, that probably will be. But I said a few weeks ago on the show here that I think at some point Verizon will be dropping that millimeter wave. Millimeter wave is too expensive to put in. I don't think it's ever going to be worth it to them. And I expect that they'll drop it at some point.
I think they just need to be more strategic on where they put it, and then honest about what they charge people.
Yeah, but the problem being that you have to put a tower up every 50, 100 feet across the entire nation, and you've got to pay people to do that. You're talking millions, maybe billions by the time you get that all put together.
I mean, it's more like it's a marathon sort of thing. But I think you just start out in marathons, like in high traffic areas. So definitely metropolitan cities.
I think T-Mobile was the smart one. They started with the low band, and they're working their way. And of course, that's why they got Sprint, because Sprint had all that mid band. But I don't see where it's worth it. I think once we start hitting that mid band, when we start seeing that on our phones. Now, of course, this Galaxy S20 is the only one I have 5G on right now. But once that mid-band starts kicking in and I start seeing it on this phone, this is going to be plenty fast for me, is my guess. And yeah, it'd be nice to have millimeter wave, but I just don't think it's a realistic option.
I don't think it's an option that's meant for phones, really, because why would you need all that speed? I think it's more for the Internet of Things, for driving self-driving cars.
Self-driving cars, yeah. And to me, when I first heard about 5G, the most exciting part of it to me is once the technology is working right, the self-driving car thing is going to be beautiful.
But you're going to have the drones delivering food. It'll be beautiful.
Okay, let me see. Let me look at the rest of these comments before I.
Yeah, there goes Ted with his LG G8X. Oh, somebody asked me on the comments what I think about it.
Well, see, I didn't know I didn't know that Verizon was releasing their own low band. Yeah, that's what they should have done in the first place, in my opinion. Go ahead, Ted. What were you saying?
Someone asked me in the comments, it was tech for your needs. Do I categorize my phone a dual screen or foldable? It does fold. It is a dual screen.
It's a dual screen phone. It's a dual screen foldable.
It's a dual screen foldable, but
I have a dual screen foldable with my ZTE Axon M. So what?
That's not a dual. That's a foldable phone. But actually how you have when you have a monitor, 2 monitors for your computer, it's exactly the same thing with a phone.
Yeah.
With the dual screen phone.
Yeah.
Just better multitasking.
Well, you're important. That's why. Mike is agreeing with you. And you can tell you both live around big cities. I live in Chattanooga, not a big city. All right, we're going to move on to our next story. I'll take this one. This one I found interesting. This is on Ars Technica, and Google wants Samsung to kill Bixby Google App Store. Google offers Samsung a higher revenue share in exchange for offering its ecosystem. And when what's his name, Pocket Now, was talking about it on the Pocket Now Daily.
Nobody talked about this during the judiciary hearing, just so you guys know.
Well, it's a private deal between 2 companies. But anyway.
Still anti-competitive practices.
I don't think so. Not if Google. Well, let's read the story, then we'll see. Right.
Okay.
Reuters and Bloomberg are both independently reporting that Google is pushing Samsung to back away from its duplicate Android ecosystem and promote Google apps instead. A correspondence between the two companies was seen by both sides, which showed Google pushed Samsung to promote the Play Store and Google Assistant over the Galaxy App Store and Samsung's Bixby Assistant. Google was apparently willing to open its wallet and pay Samsung to make it happen. Bloomberg's interpretation of the negotiations is pretty vague, saying the deal would promote Google's digital assistant and Play Store for apps on Samsung devices. The latter, Reuters report, is a lot more specific, saying Samsung is considering dropping its Bixby virtual assistant and Galaxy App Store from its mobile devices. Reuters goes on to say that Google is dangling more lucrative terms for Samsung than in previous deals if it retreats from its app strategy. Part of Google's immense web of Android protection is sharing ad revenue and Play Store app revenue with phone manufacturers, and offering Samsung a higher share is an easy way to bribe the South Korean company into submission. Yeah, well, they offer enough. Whether Samsung would actually be willing to kill Bixby in the Galaxy App Store is up in the air. Samsung has invested piles of money in Bixby since its launch in 2017, but Bixby hasn't been very successful. There's an understatement. Samsung acquired the assistant startup Viv Labs, which was founded by the creators of Siri, and put the company to work improving Bixby. But Samsung's voice assistant still can't hang in the same crowd as the Google Assistant, Apple Siri, and Amazon Alexa. And if you can't hang with Siri, that's pretty sad in my opinion. Voice assistants are primarily interfaces to a search engine and a services ecosystem, two things Samsung doesn't really invest in. So it has been hard for the company to turn Bixby into something useful. When you say take a note, where does it go? Google and Apple both have a sprawling ecosystem for notes, music, reminders, calendar events, photos, maps, and more, all available from your phone and the web. Samsung's ecosystem gap means that Bixby relies on a cobbled-together web of third-party services or controlling apps on your Samsung phone, which are mostly forks of Google's based Android apps. Samsung's Bixby ships on its Android devices, its Tizen smartwatches, and on some refrigerators. No, really, I didn't know that. But that's about it. Samsung announced a Bixby smart speaker as the Galaxy Home in 2018, but nearly 2 years have gone by and the product is nowhere to be seen. Samsung pivoted to a cheaper Galaxy Home Mini instead, but Home Mini doesn't seem like it ever became a commercial product either. Samsung offered it as a free bonus for some Galaxy S20 pre-orders in South Korea, but it's not for sale. The real test of a voice assistant is a smart speaker which has no interface other than voice, and Samsung doesn't seem confident in Bixby's ability to pull this off. The main problem I see with killing Bixby is that it would leave Samsung smartwatches without a voice assistant at all. That's true. That's a good point. I doubt Google would build Google Assistant for Tizen watches. Samsung's Galaxy App Store is used to update Samsung's core Android apps that ship with the phone, but there's no reason to keep it around for most countries. Relying entirely on the Play Store is tough since Google Play isn't available in China. So in that country, Samsung's own App Store is useful. The company's App Store doesn't seem to be entirely successful in China either, though the App in China App Store Index rates Samsung as the 15th most popular App Store in China. That's not too good, if you ask me. I have trouble imagining Samsung abandoning Bixby and the Galaxy App Store when it has been so concerned about its reliance on Google in the past. That's true. That's where Tizen started, right?
Yep.
Bloomberg blames the coronavirus for why Samsung would be open to something like this, saying the drop in demand for mobile devices during the COVID-19 pandemic has intensified the company's need for revenue and weakened its negotiating position with a key partner. Currently, Google products have very strong default placement on Samsung phones. That's true. Both the Play Store and the Google search bar ship on the first home screen. and Google is the default search engine. Thank God. When we last saw Google's Play Store and app licensing terms for Android, the location and defaultness, I know it was a word, of Google services were enshrined in the contract. Google made things like the location of the search bar and Play Store icons a requirement for licensing the company's closed source Android apps. Google wanted spots on the home screen. The EU took Google to task for its placement rules. That's true. I wrote a story about that, saying that Google's licensing terms were anti-competitive. Google's argument was that Android's development was offered to OEMs for free, and the inclusion and placement of these apps funded its development through ad and app revenue. Google's concession to EU regulators was to add a paid flexibility tier to Google Play licensing, where OEMs could pay up to $40 to unbundle Google apps and placement requirements. Nothing about Google's licensing terms stops phone manufacturers from building competing and duplicate services. And on a Samsung phone, the Galaxy App Store lives on the home screen right next to the Play Store. Bixby typically gets its own dedicated hardware button on the side of a Samsung phone. It's something we all can't stand. And while that is now remappable to a different app, you specifically can't map it to Google Assistant, which is what everybody has wanted. Reuters says that the companies are aiming to finalize terms by Friday, so that would have been today. Samsung's Galaxy Note 20 launches next week, but seems a bit too early to see any dramatic software changes, but we'll be on the lookout for the prominence of Bixby in the company's presentation. So yeah, Jaime Rivera on Pocket Now Daily 2 days ago, he was so happy about this story. And a lot of people are going to be, because most people have hated the Bixby ever since it came out. And Google and Samsung knows that, and so does Google. So yeah, if I were Google, I would just offer them a ton more money and see if we could get that done. What do you think?
I think it's anti-competitive.
I don't
It's
think
exactly what
I don't think so. But that's going to be up to Washington, D.C.
they are stifling any hope of competition to Google Assistant.
Well,
One
it's
point I
not
do
that
want to
they're
make though.
stifling competition to Google Assistant. Their complaint is that it's two things of the same thing on the same phones. And I
But it's
can
not
see
two
that.
things of the same thing. One is a product from Google, which is, albeit more
There's
superior
two
and
app
intelligent.
stores and two assistants. That's two of the same
Whatever,
thing on the same phone.
whatever that does want to be in Google's App Store can be in Galaxy Store, yeah, and avoid a 30% cut in their revenue. So it's not saying that it's
obviously you're with those who think Bixby should stay. I'm with Google on this one.
Google they do develop or allow the Google Assistant on other operating systems, and I'm thinking about KaiOS, which is
Okay.
which is for like budget flip phones and developing markets.
Right.
I do know, the Google Assistant is on that phone, and that's an operating system. I don't even think it's based on Android. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jason is speculating, but we're essence attempt to get Google Assistant to watch. But yeah, I'm thinking, the Tizen being on the watch is going to be what, if the deal doesn't get through, that's probably going to be what stops it. Let's see, it goes from the similar to Microsoft. Well, yeah. And they went after Microsoft years ago for the same type of deal. That's true. Hey, Sean, good to see you, sir. Let's see. Oh, Gary's here finally. Wow. Gary, we haven't had any troublemakers in here. We've missed you. Of Sam. And I agree with you, Gary, but Samsung's best chance at having their own Tizen ecosystem was probably 2 years ago, something like that. I think they realized that it just wasn't going to happen, and I think that's why they stopped pushing Tizen other than on their watches. So that's my best guess. You can see
So
Michael's.
what? Is it,
Michael's going back to Netscape and IE. You're old, Michael, just like me.
yeah, he's going back to his glory days.
Yeah. See what you did? Now you just put the boss in my head. Glory days. Okay. All right. Let me get this story down. And what's our next one?
But it is anti-competitive. Next
Oh, no.
one is 275
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
Chinese
you read
apps.
this one. This one is interesting to me. All right, I'm going to share the screen. This is on the Economic Times, IndiaTimes.com. And it was all over the place, but I like their way of writing the story. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's see. So 275 more Chinese apps on India's radar list includes PUBG. I didn't know that was Chinese. And Visa. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you'll find out.
New Delhi, India has drawn up a list of 275 Chinese apps that it will examine for any violation of national security and user privacy, signaling heightened scrutiny and the possibility of more Chinese internet companies being banned in the country, according to people aware of the developments. This follows the high-profile ban of 59 Chinese apps last month, including short video app TikTok, and amid simmering geopolitical tensions between the two Asian giants. The list, reviewed by ET, includes gaming app PUBG, backed by China's most valuable internet major, Tencent, Zilli by phone maker Xiaomi, and AliExpress by e-commerce giant Alibaba. Okay, now it's getting serious.
Yeah, well, Alibaba's bigger than Amazon
The
as far as I've
government
been
may
told.
ban all, some, or none of from the list. A spokesperson for the Union Home Ministry did not respond to queries from ET on the developments. However, official sources said reviews aimed at identifying more Chinese apps and their funding is underway. Some of these apps have been red flagged due to security reasons, while others have been listed for violation of data sharing and privacy concerns. This is in addition to examining the alleged flow of data from these apps to China that pose a threat to sovereignty and integrity of India, according to officials who pointed to what they termed as China's data sharing norm that requires companies of Chinese origin to share data with the home country, irrespective of where they operate. Companies with Chinese investments, while banning 59 Chinese apps following a violent face-off between the armed forces of two countries on June 15th, India cited threats to national security and public order. China criticized the move, saying it was strongly concerned about the ban. Email queries from ET on the latest developments sent to Tencent, Kaishu, Xiaomi, ByteDance, and Alibaba remain unanswered till press time. Chinese internet companies have about 300 million unique users in India, indicating that nearly two-thirds of smartphone users in the country have downloaded a Chinese app, according to the industry. Among the Chinese apps being scrutinized now are 14 MI apps by Xiaomi, as well as lesser-known ones such as CapCut and FaceU. Apps from other Chinese internet and tech majors like Me2, LBE Tech, Perfect, Core, Sina, Core, NetEase Games, Yuzu Global are also present. Also in the list are companies such as Helsinki-based Supercell that has investments by Chinese technology companies. Tencent bought a majority stake in the gaming company last year. Another senior government official told ET that the government is looking to formalize a process for such bans, and the concerned ministry has been asked to frame a law or circular or some form of regulation for constant scrutiny of the apps operating in India. A set of rules or defined procedures may take time, but it is the correct process to go about it in the future. Responding to queries from ET, an official for Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology said the Indian government will follow due process before undertaking any ban. There is a process involved. There is a committee in place for such ban orders. If there is such an order, then MeTY will act. Meanwhile, a government committee set up to examine the data practices of 59 Chinese banned apps will review the company's responses, the deadlines for which expires this week, and initiate further action, officials told ET. Let's see. Asia's fifth largest economy is now the battleground for Chinese and American internet majors that are vying to dominate one of the world's largest, most open internet markets. With an estimated base of 450 smartphone users,
50.
ET
That's a big
reported last
base.
week that Zilli and Snack Video had moved into the top 10 list on Google Play as the two Chinese apps emerge as contenders to replace the banned short video app TikTok. Wildly popular across India's hinterland, TikTok has snagged 200 registered users in the country and had been downloaded 660 million times since its launch 2 years ago, accounting for 30% of its overall global downloads.
That's
For
a lot.
PUBG, India is its largest market, according to app intelligence from Sensor Tower, generating about 175 million installs today, or 24% of total downloads.
So that means if they ban that one, PUBG is going
And
to
I
lose a
cannot
lot of
hear you.
money. So anyway, to me, that whole story says so. It's not just America and Trump and our politicians. It sounds like they are having the same exact thoughts as our politicians, and it
Oh
all
crap!
seems to be
Sorry,
around
George, I
security.
lost audio.
Okay, all right. Anyway, but they seem to have
Can
the
I hear
same
you now?
concerns as the politicians here. So
Nah, lost audio. I thought I didn't have this problem anymore on an iPad. Crap.
I hear you just fine, but you can't hear me, I gather. All right, we're going to pause a minute, folks, and see if Ted gets his audio back. Let's see. Mike's comment. Okay, that's still on the last story. Here's Don's comment on Google. Google had their way, we would be under tyrants that would make China look silly. I don't care. Let Google take over Android software, but we will suffer. And then Gary says, I would love to see Samsung do something with Tizen. Yeah, and we all felt.
Microsoft Edge.
Can
No,
you?
I'm on my iPad, and whenever I get comfortable, the iPad doesn't give me audio.
Are you hearing me
I was
now?
thinking it was a bit too quiet, but hold on.
Okay.
Let me go on the LG G8.
See, I feel like I work for Sprint. Can you hear me now? Oh. Look at Gary. There's Gary being Gary. All right, folks, we're in a minor pause. Yeah, the problem, Mike, is not any of us hearing Ted or me. The problem is he's not hearing me now. So he's working on it. Okay. Should I kill the other one? Can you hear me? I'm going to remove that one. I'm going to add you here.
Hello?
Okay. Which one are you on? I'm going to remove this one then. And I'm going to add you back here. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Now I'm getting the echo. You need to kill one of them. If I kill it here.
Come on. Try to connect my AirPod. Connect. God. It does not want to connect.
But you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I'm gonna pick one of these. All right, you hearing me now? You hearing me now, okay? No, you're not hearing me now, okay. I kicked out the other one. Okay. Come back. All right, let's see. All right. We have a pregnant pause here, folks. I don't really want to move on to the next story. There's Gary being Gary again. Ooh. Hey, I have the Samsung's Bunch Plus, and I absolutely love these things. So there. Mike is saying try signing. Ooh, very good. You see, Mike can be the same wise guy as Gary can. And I'm the one from Jersey here. This is supposed to be me. You know. And I guess Ted's working on coming back in. I'll get the next story ready. See, Gary likes it when somebody comes up with the same wise cracks like he does. I like that. I can see that. And I guess it was going too smoothly anyway. What the heck? All right, folks. Yes, we knew that about you, Mike. All right, Ted's back in. I'm going to remove the other one. And I'm going to add him over here. Okay, now, are you hearing me?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm going to kick the other one out of the stream, all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. All right, are you still hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. All right, good. I was just getting ready to start reading the next story. You can see that Big Dog has a very high opinion of Google. All right, so now we're good. So now we're going to the next story. And who read the last story? You?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay. And I will get this one. Sharing screen now. Okay, and this one is on Android Police. And I thought this was pretty cool. The Google Store will now price match B&H in the U.S., many other retailers internationally. Perfect to protect against pixel price drops. Online shopping can be stressful, especially when you want to get the best price possible on Google products. A lot of stores offer price matching after the fact to help provide some peace of mind. The Google Store has been price matching since last year, but only with 4 retailers in the U.S. I didn't even know that. Now the program is expanding to include an additional store in the U.S. and many more elsewhere. Customers can request a discount if the price of an item purchased from the Google Store decreases at the accepted retailers within 15 calendar days. And that's the key to remember, folks. You got 15 days to come back to them. In the U.S., that includes Amazon, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and now B&H as well. Argos, Amazon, Currys, and John Lewis are included for the UK. The countries currently eligible for price matching, this is pretty good, include Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, Puerto Rico, Singapore, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, the UK, and the US. You can see the retailers included in each country on Google's support page. This is a welcome change for Google fans, customers, beta testers. Google has a history of sudden pixel price changes, that's true. If you lived through the Pixel 3 Black Friday fiasco of 2018, you know what I'm talking about. These new store additions make it that much easier to ensure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Just remember that you've only got 15 days from the time of purchase to submit a price match request. So I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty sensible. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, anything that benefits the customer, I'm all down with that. So I like that story. Let's see. I'm looking at the comments just to see if I didn't miss anything. Interesting. They're having a conversation, and Big Dog
I government.
thinks the
It wasn't
three.
my Wi-Fi, guys. For some reason, StreamYard doesn't play well with iPads, or my iPad at least. So the audio will just randomly cut out, and I'm just like, ah.
Now that's funny because that 1 week that I was when I first moved here and I was on with the iPad, it was fine the whole time. Yeah.
Did you switch? You switched on something. You didn't ever
Mhm.
have to switch to a different device?
No, I started on the iPad. No, I was having connection problems because they had the weak signal.
Oh yeah.
That's why I had to buy the extender. But ever since I got that, it's pretty good, so I can't kick.
Hmm.
And Big Dog says the V60 is the phone of the year to him. And I've heard a couple of other. I think Jay Will might say the same thing. He hasn't said that specifically, but he's kind of been hinting at it.
Speaking of, the whole Google Assistant thing,
Yeah.
with the Bixby button, that's programmable. For the life of me, I can't find a way to remap the Google Assistant button on V60s.
On V60s, I've never had a V60, so I don't
Not
know.
even V60. My LG G8X, I haven't been able to find a remapping.
Okay, that I don't know. Uh, Seems to me I have a phone that has a Google Assistant button, and I can't remember which one it is.
To be honest, I rarely even use the button. If I need to talk to the assistant, I just either say, "Hey Google," or I
Yeah,
press the
that's
home
what I
button.
do too. But three. I have the Google Home in here, and I have two other Google Home Minis around the house. Plus, I have Amazon, and this is a 3-room apartment. It's a big 3-room apartment, but I never need to use the button for anything. Yeah. So that's just how it is. Okay. Oh, and here's Big Dog saying you can't remap it in the V60. So that kind of makes sense. They're both LG. So you're not crazy, Ted. Okay, we're on to the next story. Okay, this is hinting at what's coming up in a few days. All right, I'm going to share the screen. And this will be yours, Ted. This is on cnet.com.
All
All right,
right,
you
let
good?
me. Yeah, hold on. I'm actually, streaming off the LG G8X
I
now, so I
know
gotta.
you're just like Mike. You're always doing something else. That's
I
like you.
have to. I was using the second screen to read the comments. And I gotta, go to the story now.
Now you actually have to go to work. What a shame.
uh, yeah. There we go. It's different. It's
All right,
different.
whenever you're ready. I'm here to
Uh,
inconvenience you as much as I can.
all right. Samsung opens reservations for a new Galaxy device. It's rumored to be the Note 20.
Yeah.
We don't have any specifics about the new phone, but you can reserve a pre-order invitation. A pre-order invitation.
Isn't
That's
that something? Isn't that?
that's different.
Yep.
Now through August 4th. I'm starting to see how Huawei took the first spot.
Yeah.
Samsung hasn't officially announced what's next for the Galaxy lineup, but that isn't stopping the Korean conglomerate from taking reservations for whatever it might be. A new splash page on the Samsung's website calls on consumers to be the first to experience the new Galaxy. Rumors and leaks point to a new Galaxy Note device, namely the Note 20, on Wednesday. Tech site When Future and noted leaker Evan Blast released images of the purported Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra.
Okay.
Those who signed up for a reservation between now and August 4th, which is Tuesday, One day before Samsung's Unpacked event can receive an email invitation to pre-order the yet to be unveiled device. Those who complete the purchase will receive $50 in the form of Samsung credit. Okay, that's more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Note 20 or otherwise, the new device is also eligible for Samsung's buyback program, through which owners who keep their phone in satisfactory condition can exchange it for credit worth 50% off the full retail price. Oh, after
Yeah.
24 months.
Yeah. They remember we talked about that about a month and a half ago on the show. Now, if you don't mind, continue on into the next story.
Okay.
You good? Or you want me to do it?
Hold on, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Number 7. Carl Pay says the OnePlus Nord is coming to the
No, no,
US.
no. I meant the next story on that same page.
Oh, let's see. Next story.
Galaxy Note 20 images leak ahead of Samsung event.
Galaxy Fold redesign. Here's how Samsung fixed its foldable phone.
No. Well,
Let's see.
let me go ahead and read it because I have it right in front of me. Anyway, Galaxy Note 20 images leak ahead of Samsung event. The Note 20 may come in bronze, gray, and green color options. There's the bronze. It sure is beautiful. I'll give it that. Samsung plans to introduce 5 new devices at its Unpacked event on August 5th. That's why I wanted it. Likely including the Ruben Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra, but we may be getting an early look at the phones thanks to some mobile tipsters. On Wednesday, tech site WinFuture and frequent leaker Evan Blass via a private Twitter account both shared purported images of the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra. Yes, we just read that in the last story. And there's one of the leaks right there. I clicked on it, but it's not coming up, so the heck with it. Okay. If the images are accurate, the Note 20 will come in bronze, gray, and green color options, while it looks like the Ultra will come in bronze and black. The images, which look similar to what we've seen in previous leaks, also show off the phone's camera setups, S Pen stylus, and thin bezels that free up maximum screen space. And I think that's all. Yeah, and then they're just talking about how to watch Samsung. Anyway, so Samsung Unpacked is next Wednesday, folks. So if you're excited for Samsung, that's it. All right, now, sorry about the confusion, my fault. The next one is OnePlus. Okay. All right, so since I screwed things up, you want this one or should I take it?
Yeah, I'll take this one since I already read the headline.
Okay, I'm still trying to get it up.
Carl Pay. Oh, I'll wait for you to get it
It's
up.
taking its time.
That's
Okay.
what she said.
I was waiting for that. Way too obvious. Okay. Look at Mike's comment. Yeah, hold your breath on that, Mike. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Carl Pay says the OnePlus Nord is coming to the US. Just maybe not the same Nord. It still hasn't stopped all you tech heads from talking about the goddamn thing, but
Sure.
expect it to arrive later this year. The OnePlus hyped the Nord for a long time. No, you guys
There's
hyped the
an
Nord.
understatement.
So it's a good thing that the phone lives up to expectations. For £379, this is one hell of a phone, but those of us that don't live in European or Indian markets have been left out. We have some good news though. According to OnePlus co-founder Carl Pei, a Nord phone of some sort will be coming stateside soon. Speaking with Wired, Pei said that the Nord branded phone, which won't necessarily be the same as the Nord that's out today, will be hitting the US sometime in 2020. This year is already two-thirds over, so it sounds like we'll be seeing this Americanized Nord within the next 4 months, barring any delays. Pi didn't elaborate on what would be different in the US version of the Nord, so we're left to wonder what will actually change. Will we be left with inferior specs, a smaller battery, or a less substantial camera system? Perhaps we will actually see some improvements on the design and speaker front. Here's hoping that OnePlus doesn't screw with the firmware that makes the Nord so good too much.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen, I don't think the camera system is all that great on the Nord, but I guess it's okay. What struck me is they also there's some talk about the OnePlus 8T already. So it sounds like they're going to be bringing us a Nord and a OnePlus 8T. So it's like, okay, so what's going to be the difference there? You know. Now, normally, you know, we have the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. Normally, the T is going to be, you know, a minor upgrade over that. So the Nord is going to be kind of a left field thing to me. So what's it going to be if it's going to be different than Europe's? Yeah. So very confusing stuff, in my opinion.
I'm choosing not to give any energy to the story. To
Okay.
this,
You're
to
a
the
little
Nord.
You're a little tired of the Nord stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, remember, I was all hyped up about it until I started seeing reviews of it. Now I'm not hyped up at all. Now, of course, when the T comes along, yeah, that may excite me. It usually does. But we'll see. But, of course, now I'm excited for Monday because that's when we're supposed to see a Pixel 3a.
Hold on. Somebody, Don, what's Don saying over there? Don, bruh.
Where's
bruh.
oh, there he is. Okay. Flossie said it best today. The LG Velvet blows the doors off the Nord. See, I saw Flossie put up that video. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. And Flossie's one of those guys I like, MKBHD. I tend to trust him because I think he's straight up and honest about stuff. So if Flossie said that, I'm not surprised. Are you talking? I hope you're not talking because I can't hear you. Say something.
Yeah.
Now I hear you.
Why are you scaring me like that?
Well, it sounded like it looked like you were talking and I wasn't hearing anything. You know, I know I'm 75, but I haven't gone deaf yet. You're doing it again. All right. Anyway, if Flossie said that, I gotta believe. I'll watch that tomorrow or tonight. So that should be interesting to see. And the LG Velvet is one of those ones that kind of interested in, but right now I'm kind of focused in on the Pixel 3a. So Monday, hopefully, I'll be able to order that.
And the Microsoft Duo.
Yeah, but the thing about it, I was conflicted whether I should get the Pixel 4a or wait for the Duo. But if the Duo is going to be AT&T, it's going to be months before I can actually get my hands on it. So I might as well get the 4a right now. You know, that's how I'm looking at it.
That's crazy. I wouldn't want to put a dual screen phone at AT&T, seeing as how the Axon M went.
Well, I think this is going to be a little bit higher than the Axon M, but yeah, and if I know Microsoft, they're probably going to make sure their phone gets pushed, where ZTE, that phone didn't get pushed at all, even though it was a first of its kind. But you know, my guess is if you don't make a deal where they're getting some money, they're not going to push your phone. I'll bet you they'll push the Microsoft phone though. That's my guess anyway. All right, next story is going to be, yeah, Big House is saying I got to catch that video of Flossie. Me too. I'm with you all the way there. Now, of course, now that you've got Flossie in my head is going, I love my white shoes, which is in every single one of Flossie's videos.
George,
yeah.
Calm down.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Do I look like White Shoes to you? For those who don't know, White Shoes is Flossie's cat, and White Shoes is always in his videos. All right, this one's on you, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
Okay, this is on the Sun, the U.S. Sun, and whenever you're ready.
I had no idea the Sun was in the U.S. That's horrible.
Yeah, I didn't know that either till I pulled the story up. Go ahead.
Retail reverse. Yep, that's classic. Puns from English puns. Walmart, CVS, Home Depot, and Walgreens U-turn on face coverings and say they will serve customers not wearing masks because they're yellow bellied.
Well,
Major.
I think if you owned the store, having people shoot people in your store would kind of push you the other way. That makes sense to me.
No, this is America. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Okay. Whenever you're
The
ready.
terrorists. Okay. Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walgreens, and CVS had initially said shoppers had to wear masks, but now have backtracked on that in order to avoid confrontations with angry customers. Many stores have done U turns on enforcing shoppers wear a mask. Initially, stores had taken on the task of ensuring customers were wearing face masks when they entered, but found themselves on their own when it came to enforcing the policy due to lack of any legal requirement. Melissa Murdoch, a spokesperson for the Retail Industry Leaders Association, said many retailers feel like they have to act since some of the governors haven't. The group has been lobbying governors to require masks be worn in all 50 states, but currently it falls to individual stores to implement their policy. If companies are not requiring customers to wear a mask within their store, then they never had a requirement. All they had was a public relations stunt. Violent incidents have erupted recently when anti-maskers have objected to being made to wear a face covering. A security guard working at a family dollar store in Michigan was shot and killed in May after he told a customer to wear a mask.
Now that
Dozens of
guy, I hope, goes to jail for a good long time. You're going to shoot somebody for asking you to wear a mask. I mean, come on now.
Yep. Dozens of videos have shown confrontations between angry customers and staff in stores clashing over the rules. I actually did predict like this would happen in Walmart.
Well, yeah, but it's not just Walmart. There was a video out this week. I think it was going around on Facebook Live. Some old lady on a beach. I don't know where the beach was, but because there was a couple on a beach away from everybody else, she went over and sprayed the guy in the face with mace on a beach. I mean, come on.
For not wearing a mask.
For not wearing a mask. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
People are nuts out here. That she belongs with the guy who's shooting the guy.
Mm.
Okay, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Come on. Health ambassadors. Walmart,
Yeah.
the largest retailer in the country, has said that it hopes to place employees called health ambassadors at the front lines, at the entrance to stores, reminding shoppers to wear a mask as they are entering.
Let me
But
interrupt. They are already doing it because last week I was going into Walmart. You know, they have these little gate things that you have to go through now. And there was a guy there, and there was a teenage couple, and the girl didn't have a mask. And she wasn't required, but as soon as she said, "Oh, I forgot it." So he said, "Okay." But as soon as they started going through the door, he radioed somebody inside describing her that she's coming in without a mask. So they already have their health ambassador standing out there.
But if customers refuse and also decline the offer of a free mask, the staff are instructed to let the customers walk into the store and notify management so they can determine the next steps. Staff had been told by a corporate video not to engage with a customer physically or try to block their entrance into the store.
Smart move.
Yeah. With every requirement, there are exceptions that have been established to avoid escalating the situation and putting our associates in harm's way. Our goal is to keep associates from physical confrontation in the store, a Walmart representative said. Young kids and those with health conditions will be exempt from wearing masks.
That makes sense.
Lowe's home improvement chain is also requesting customers wear masks and is providing free masks to those who need them.
Good.
We will not ask our associates to put their safety at risk by confronting customers about wearing masks. At Home Depot, while there is a requirement to wear masks, staff will not challenge anyone not wearing one. Employees have been told not to block the entrance or chase after customers if they are not wearing one. CVS has asked for shoppers to cooperate with the mask wearing policy. Yeah, I've had that impression too.
Mm-hmm.
A company said in the event of non-compliance for safety reasons, we ask our employees to avoid escalating confrontations with non-compliant customers and instead help them complete their purchase as quickly as possible while providing information about other options we have available for their future needs, including free home delivery or prescriptions in our drive-through window service. Some stores have hired private security guards to help enforce any mask wearing policies, but there has been a varying response from firms over the issue of getting the cops involved in any dispute. CVS and Home Depot say that they would not call the cops if a customer decided not to wear a mask.
Yeah, now, to me, the smartest thing in this story is, okay, if you don't have a mask, hand the person a mask.
Yeah, but people will refuse.
Yeah, now I guess some people, because there was 2 weeks ago, I was going into a store and I forgot my mask. As soon as I get in the store, I said to the guy, I forgot. He handed me a mask. I said, thank you. It's that simple, But yeah, the people who refuse, I agree. Now, the CVS one, that is a turnaround in their policy, because before I left Florida, the CVS, and we were just above Miami, that CVS said you can't come in here without a mask. They were already saying that, and that was over a month ago. Okay. So that really is a change in policy. But I think it's probably good. You probably save some of your employees' lives because of stupid people who shoot people and spray people with mace.
Although this receptionist in this picture, that if you scroll down, she's got the gloves, but she doesn't have a mask. So yeah,
yeah, I didn't even see that one. Here, let me show that again so they can all see it too. That's true. She's not wearing a mask, is she? You would think that she should be wearing a mask.
She got the gloves, but she don't got the mask.
Yeah.
Sometimes, hands are more important than the face.
I guess. Maybe she's just a very handy gal. Oh.
Let's see. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has consistently said people should cover their mouth and nose when around others to help reduce the spread of coronavirus.
Now, see, for me, I don't like wearing masks, and for me personally, you know how I feel. I don't feel like I need to. But if it's going to make somebody feel, I'll wear the stupid mask. I'm not going to argue with somebody over it. It doesn't make sense to me. Oh, we got Marilyn in here. Welcome, Marilyn. Glad to see you. Marilyn's another, Mike and Marilyn are both biker friends of mine. Marilyn lives over in North Carolina. She said the North Carolina government issued an executive order requiring masks in stores. They'll fine stores. Stores are not allowing people to enter unless they have a health condition. Yeah, and to me, that's perfectly fair. But if you're going to tell them you have a health condition, hopefully you have something to prove it. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, that makes sense. You went out and back in? What are you doing? Messing with my head or what?
I went to hit the chat button, but the leave button is right next to the chat button. And because I'm on the LGs, like the buttons are small, so I hit the leave button by accident.
Let me explain it to you. You are the young one. I am the old one. I'm supposed to be the one with the fumble fingers, okay? All right. Now, we have one more story, and I just threw this in here because I just thought it was cute. Did you see this one with the fashion mask?
Yeah, the LEDs on the mask.
I just thought it was cool.
It was handy.
I don't think I'd want to pay for it because she's a fashion designer. Okay, this is on The Verge again. This says, look at this cool LED face mask made by a fashion entrepreneur. Let's see if we can get rid of this. Wearers can customize the mask, light up messaging. I think that's very cool. So anyway, that's what the mask looks like. But as we go down, if my screen doesn't freak out, okay, you'll see it actually in action. At the start of the coronavirus pandemic, fashion designer Chelsea Klukas of Lumen Couture was planning to make some standard cloth face masks for friends. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends wearing homemade face coverings to prevent the spread of the virus. Lumen Couture was an entire line of tech-enabled fashion, including dresses, hoodies, and costumes. And Klukas, I said it right, shifted to masks when in-person events were being canceled and sales for other products were slumping. She decided to add the tech to make the face mask a little more fun. And then you can see it. I think that looks so cool. Look at it. I don't know. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. I had the components around, so I put together a quick DIY YouTube tutorial. Yeah, she's actually put a tutorial on how to make this on YouTube, how to make them. Kluka said in an interview with The Verge, that really blew up to the point where people were asking me for a ready-to-wear mask. She added that she didn't want to appear to be trying to profit from the pandemic, so Lumen Couture donated proceeds from sales of the mask through June, about $5,000, to the World Health Organization COVID-19 Relief Fund. Customers who are buying the mask are a completely different demographic from her usual clientele, Lucas says, and she's seen more male customers than she expected. Yeah, she would get me if I could afford it, most of whom would not describe themselves as fashionistas. She adds that she thinks having masks anyone can wear will help make them a statement wardrobe item. I think we are seeing the introduction of mask wearing as a new form of expression. I agree. Other fashion designers are picking up on this too. I think we will start to see like the Rolex version of mask. That's heavy duty.
Ooh.
Imagine what that would cost. Anyway, there's some mask advertisements in there. The LED display, this is showing one of the dresses she made with the LEDs.
Not bad.
Yeah, the LED display mask has a thin LED matrix screen, and wearers can control what it displays. Drawings, custom text, and even voice imprints via an app. That's cool. The fabric is breathable above and below the screen, and the tech components can be removed so the mask can be washed. That's very well thought out. Or worn as a regular mask. A battery and charging cord are included, pardon me. The app offers a microphone input, and some wearers use it to display social distancing messages like stand back or 6 feet. That might be difficult to hear someone say with their mouth covered. That's cool. The trickiest part of designing clothing with LED lighting components is where and how to conceal the batteries, Lucas said. There are a few tricks where you can hide in a dress with a fluffy skirt, for example, but if you want to do something sleek and skin tight, it's more of a challenge. The mask has been her best-selling item by far, but Kluka says she can't wait to get back to in-person shows where people can touch and experience the LED-enhanced clothing in person. Especially with some of the more adventurous pieces, people will come close to see the magic, and it's hard to show that through video. The person wearing the fashion is part of the story, and it doesn't convey the story as well on a flat screen. So anyway, I just thought that was a very cool story, and I think that is a very cool-looking mask.
It is certainly one way to stunt with a mask.
Yeah, you should buy me one.
You don't even like masks.
Yeah, well, this as a statement, I'll make a fashion. I don't mind making a fashion statement. Yeah.
Oh, you got a message. Let's see who it's from.
Let's see. What's Mike saying here? They have an order here to wear, and this is in Georgia. That's outside of Atlanta. Many people don't. I do. It's just easier to comply than fight over stupid. I agree completely, Mike. Totally agree. Now, what else is he saying here? I want a high-tech mask that changes your voice to Darth Vader. I would buy. That I would definitely buy. Okay. What are you looking at? You're doing Mike again. What are you looking at?
Potential mother-in-law. Ugh.
Potential mother. Would you have a lineup so you can pick one out? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just rent one for the day test drive, you know.
Okay, pardon me. This is all new. This must be the high-tech world that I'm too old to be part of.
Oh, but yeah, I like Michael's idea.
Darth
Vader.
I would love that. You know, Mike, you're an entrepreneur. You could do this. Okay, so we have been through all of our stories. And this being the last day of the month, of course, this is always the Friday that Mike and Will are not on. So thank God for Ted. And he and I hold down the fort nicely. But next week, I expect we will be on Will's channel. because usually beginning of the month we start with. Oh no, we need to get on your channel next week, don't we, Ted?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
got some things planned up for that.
Okay, good. All right. So next week we'll look forward to be on. Did you change your channel name yet?
I like TED Talks. I've been putting up with that joke for years. Let me make it.
All right. For those who don't know, Ted's channel is called TED Talks, which is a very cool name. Trouble is, if you type in TED Talks on YouTube, you get a ton of other stuff that's not him.
You get a bunch of TED Talks.
You
TED
get a
Talks
bunch of
conference.
TED Talks. So you have to go look for him. So anyway, you'll see next week how to get to his channel, because next week we'll be broadcasting live from TED Talks. So I want to thank everybody who came in tonight, and I'm really glad that I went to both my Facebooks, because it's the first. I think Michael, I've seen you once before coming in from Facebook, and Marilyn, it's the very first time I've seen you. So I'm very happy that you're here, and you will, whenever I'm broadcasting, because we take turns every Friday. I'll be broadcasting on my YouTube channel and both of the Facebooks. So it'll probably be 4 weeks from today that I'll be broadcasting again. But thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks for all the comments. Everybody contributed nicely. Thanks, Marilyn. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, every Friday we're on, and I always put out on Facebook whose channel it's going to be. So you already know next week it'll be on Ted's channel, but if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see a link to it about an hour or half an hour before the show. All right. I hope everybody has a wonderful and blessed weekend, and we will see you on Ted's channel next week.
Be glad to have you there, Marilyn.
Okay. Good night, all.
Good night.
Now the pregnant.